All right. Right now, what we're going to do before I plug my Arduino in, I'm going to just make sure that I don't have these connected on, so that I want them just like this so that my servos are exposed. Okay. Once you have them just off, you can plug your Arduino in and power it up. You should have already tested them out previously. I think that was session 5, last session. So once you get powered up here, we're going to download the XML file that I had referenced on the Canvas page into here, and we'll be attaching these things. Okay, so I've decided everybody's going to just start with the exact same program here. I think that's going to work out a little bit easier. One thing to note then in the program, once you get this opened up in Arduino, and I had that referenced in Canvas, we'll get you to upload that. But before you do that, make sure that you don't have these connected. Okay, they'd just be off for the moment. Okay, and so go ahead and get that uploaded. When you do this copy paste thing, whether, well, you're probably using Duino 2, copy that, paste it, upload it. And then when you do, you'll come back to here. Yes, you still have the power on, but these will be in the corresponding positions that we're using in the program to start them with. So in the Arduino, we have the 3 servos. This one retrieves the gumball. This is the middle one here that rotates it around, and this is the one with the smiley face at the end. Okay, so these are the angles that they're going to be at. Now, when you opened it up, this one was at 10, 100, and 35. Okay, so those are their starting positions right now. So what you would need to do is attach these 3 things at this point, and if you do that, you'll notice that these don't want to push down onto it continuously. It's only every so many degrees, like 10 or 20 degrees, it almost seems like, that it wants to push down, and that is something we're going to take care of. You're going to right now just slide this on here, and you're going to try to find a spot where this, when the gumball is in here, that's somewhere near the center of that gumball. Okay, so that point right there, okay, centered with the gumball, somewhere near that. So wherever that is for you, where this pushes on is best, pushes on all the way. If it's close, good, that's fine, because we're going to adjust it. Same with this. Right now you can put this on. Ultimately, we want the back of this part to be as close to that wall here as possible. So wherever that is for you, if it's not the same, that's fine. Okay, mine was right about there. Okay, and then the smiley face, this, you're going to want this in the up position like this. Okay, and you're going to then want to take your smiley face. Remember, this was to have been sanded down in the video. That we're going to probably need that. This smiley face, you're going to have it so that this arm is as close to pushing that down. And if it ends up pushing it down all the way and this fits in there nice, that's good. That's fine. But if you find that it's not quite touching there and this is down a little, that's okay too. We'll adjust that. So you'll need those 3 on. Again, make sure that this was powered up before you started the process of putting these on, because we need the servos to have gone to their positions that we said in the program. All right, so here we are. You should have your servos now powered up, and you have your controls that are pushed on. Okay, so let's start with this one, servo number 1, and the rest of them are done similarly. Here's what you need to know about the servo. So right now, this one we're setting at 10, and we did that in our program. If I were to come back to my Arduino, okay, right now it's in angle 10. Okay, so that in mind, 2 tabs open. Okay. If we decrease that number, okay, then it's going to slowly come down. Okay. If we increase that number of 10 to 11, 12, 13, it's going to move this way. Okay. So in the program, what we want to do is change it so that, let's say that you're too high. So 10 maybe this is where 10 is for you. You want to be able to drop it down. So what you would do is reprogram it with a different number. Like, let's say I needed to, if I was at 10, it was too high, I would jump back into my Blockly Arduino and I would say, okay, well, let me try an 8. Okay, so I would change that angle of 8. I would need to go through the process of copying the code and uploading it using Programming 2. Okay, but then once you're done doing that, then you'll notice that this will have come down a little bit. Okay, now if it comes down, if it's not quite enough, well, drop it by one more number and get it in position, because we need this so that when it's in the roughly middle position like this, a gumball can't pass through. So keep that in mind when you're moving it up or down too, that really the target is to find the best spot, which is about half point on the gumball, so that this does not slide through. Okay. Once you find that magic number, whatever that is, you're going to record that number right here. Okay. For my example, I'm just going to use the number of 10 and assume mine was perfect right when I started. Okay, which it wasn't, but I made the program so that it would work as a good example. So 10 is where mine happened to be. Okay. All right. Then the next part would be to move on to the middle servo. Okay. And so you have this in position, and what you want to happen here is that for the gumball, when it comes down, that it can't escape. Okay. So it's cradled in this position. So, and yeah, this is relatively close to the back. So that's where you want it, as closest to the back as you kind of can get it. Okay, that would be ideal. Okay, but also keep in mind, you can also test it periodically just so this can't escape out there. So whatever number that is that you find by trial and error. So here, let's say that 100, well, let's just say that 100 didn't cut it, and so you needed to go this direction. Remember, as you rotate it back this way, that the number gets higher. Okay, so you would need to jump back into your program and then increase this a bit, maybe 103 or something like that. Okay, so once you change that number here, then yep, you got to go back, copy all this, upload it into your Arduino 2. Okay, once you get this to where you want it, and again, mine, I'm actually, using the number to keep it easy for the second one. So I would jump to my worksheet here. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Okay. For that second one, well, mine happened to be right where I needed it, which is at 100. Okay. But then again, whatever number you had here for your second one, if it were 102 or 3 or 90 something, that's your number. You would go ahead and you would write down your number right here. Okay, and then on your worksheet, well, let's see, mine was 10 here. Okay, for both these steps, kind of jumping around, I apologize for that. It's late. I want to get done. Been doing this a long time. All right, we would take 42 and add 10, and note this number here of 52. Okay. And then for this one, we have 100, and we would subtract 73. Okay. 27. Right. Got that number down as well. Okay. Now it does 100 minus 73, 27. Okay, the last one. Again, find a comfortable position for this so that it's holding this up close to the top or almost to the top, but at an angle like this. So whatever number that is for you, just like we have done in the past, you would change that number here as well. And yes, you would need to go through the process of copying this and uploading it once again through Programming 2 until you find the number that was good. I'm going to assume that my number was right on the mark. Okay, so I would jot that number down here. Whatever your number was, you would write down right here. Okay. And then for the last one, oh, this is missing the printing on it. That's the angle that it's in. Yeah, with your number, the position that we'll write down here is 10 less. We'll write, so whatever your number is, subtract 10 and write that number down right there. Okay. Your number minus 10. Okay, now we're going to be taking the numbers we just recorded on the worksheet and updating our program here. So whatever your numbers were for each of these three right here, okay, we had figured out on this sheet here what we should have written down. So this reflects all of your numbers. Obviously, this is my example, so I'm using my numbers. Okay, so we'll start with these two, okay, which is for servo number 1. Okay, and the two numbers we're looking at, 10 and 52. So I got 10 as the low number, 52 is the high number. All right, so then you'd go back into this program right here, and you'd put in the low number. Mine was 10, and then you'd put in the high number right here. Okay, and then you jump down to here, and you would put in the high number, and then right here, and you'd put in the low number. Okay, and then you would go to servo number 2, which was the middle one. Okay, and let's see, we already have our number in there. Mine was 100. This one down here is the other part that concerns servo 2, and we're going to look on our sheet for servo 2. We have our high number, whatever yours was, high number here. Mine was 100. My low number then came out to be, after I subtracted 73, my low number was 27. Okay. So I jump back to my program, and whatever those numbers are, I take my high number and then my low number for servo 2, and then put in the low number down here for servo 2, and then put in the, oh, I mixed that. This is the high number for servo 2, apologize, right here. And then this is the low number for servo 2. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to move on to servo 3. Okay, you already have the number that was in there. So mathematically on our sheet for servo 3, we had to subtract 10. I was missing that on this worksheet, but we took 35. So 35 is our high number. 25 is our low number after subtracting 10. Okay. And then in the program for servo 3, we put our high number here. So me 35, low number, whatever yours was, minus 10. Then here's your low number, and put your high number. Okay. All right, then once you got all that, you're going to, well, make sure you save your file, of course. So download it, rename it, whatever. But then go ahead and upload your code. You'll have everything all set, and yeah, use Programming 2 if you're on your Chromebook, and yeah, program it, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now I should note that if for some reason one of these were to pop off, because we haven't put these screws in here yet, if they did pop off, what you would just need to do, assuming that you had the program uploaded with your numbers in there, is power it up with all of them off, and then you know that they should be in the perfect position. So all you would need to do is put these right back on. You'd feel them push on right about wherever the perfect position was. Same for all three of these. Just like, right now, if I were to pop this off, well, it's only going to comfortably go on this thing this way, which is perfect, or this way. Okay, so you've already calibrated it. So it's just a matter of powering it up and slapping these bad boys right back on. All right, so I'm sure you probably want to test your thing out right now, and you can do that if you want. You just take the power off here, and then what I would ask you to do is to just kind of take one of those wires that you have in your bag that we're going to use for an LED. Just for the time being, you could take one and just put it in there to the GND and just lightly screw it down so that it doesn't come out. And then you have control over this end of the wire here. Okay, so that when if you want to do this little test, then you have, less likely that you'll cause any damage to something. What you'll do with this is you'll touch it to the top of the screw that's connected to the D2. So like right like that. Okay, and when you touch it to the D2 screw head, then it's going to activate the start. Right. It's okay if you do this once or twice, but I would honestly, you could test it out real quick and check it out, but let's wait until we get the switch in here permanently before we really do this too many times, just to reduce the likelihood of wires bending too often and then breaking or whatnot. But if you'd like to give it a try real quick, I'm taking my wire here, this one's that's connected to ground, and then I'm going to touch it to D2. Okay, so I notice I have my power on. Okay, and just take a look right here, and I press D2. It's going to run through and do all three of them. I could put my finger on here to simulate a gumball, I suppose, lightly. Again, don't need to do it too many times as far as moving the wires and stuff around, because that'll take its toll on things. A couple times is great. Next, we'll move into adding the switch. If I get around to it, I'll get another video here as soon as I can